Happy Sunday, everybody. My
Hello.
beautiful, amazing women are here again. And I'm really excited about this conversation. I know
Hmm.
it's triggering for some people, it's exciting for others, and it's going to be thought provoking for the rest of us, I hope.
Hmm.
But I hope at the end of this, somehow I kind of get this feeling that we're not going to finish talking about all the things that we want to talk about today because
No.
we have some big alpha women in the house. I'm going to put my hand up. I'm the first one. And I have some very strong things to say about this particular topic. But I'm really excited, still reading the book. I'm still reading the book. I know some
Mhm.
people think, we've talked about this for weeks and weeks and whatever, but there's just so much. This is like a textbook. You know how you go to secondary school and you have literature books that you read, and then you have to do the comprehension and all of that about it? This is one of such books. Honestly,
Mhm.
if you haven't bought the book yet, please get the book. Okay, there's so much to be learned as a human being, not just even as a woman. And I don't know Yvonne from Adam. She's not my cousin. She's not my sister. She's not my friend. I have no vested interest in this book, except to say it's written by a fellow sister who has, shared her life story with us. I don't think it was just because she wanted to spew it all out there, but it's for us to learn valuable lessons. So good afternoon to everybody. Ekwamwa, Amajo, aka Sheila, and Antia. Welcome, 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 everybody.
Hello, everybody.
I'm so excited to have everybody in the house. So. Miss Ekwamwa, how are you doing? Can you unmute yourself, please? Unmute yourself, my darling. We can't hear you. Otherwise, I'll come to you, Antia. Good afternoon, Auntie. I see you are unmuted, so I'll pick on you first. How are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself, Sika?
Not bad at all. What is your view or your understanding of the question? Are we still living in a man's world?
It would appear so to me. I say this because despite the times in which we are,
Yeah.
and then there's more opportunities for everybody, both genders. And so those who want to are striving to be better.
Mm,
They are embracing change to
mm,
become better versions of themselves.
mm-hmm,
But there's still a big but. And
mm,
I say the big but because when this book came out, it has exposed a lot in our community.
mm,
And all I've seen is female bashing on social media. And
mm-hmm,
where I'll just take it briefly, then I'll stop so that somebody can come on. How the way I look at it is, if you can see your fellow men, your own countrymen
mm,
bashing their own women,
mm,
and then you look at the progress, the innovation going on in the world now,
mm,
and putting it out there that our most valuable asset is our human resources, our minds. And so, if we have this kind of mindset, and excuse me to say, a low mindset where we still think that women are limited to the kitchen and all that stuff, or they're like chewing gum under a man's shoe, then
mm-hmm,
have we gone or have we come?
mm.
So, I'll stop here for now.
Miss Amajo, please unmute yourself. What is your view or interpretation of the question? Are we still living in a man's world?
Yes, I think we are. We are because we women have actually. I don't know if I should put it on. We actually do. We are refusing to know ourselves, our value, or whatever we stand for, and I don't know if it is confusion because um, if people are in their marriage,
Mm-hmm,
I I watched a video and I think we are getting a whole lot of things confused. When people are in their marriage and they are okay in their marriage, and let's say they are not complaining or anything,
Yes.
those that marriage haven't worked for will be saying they are enduring. It's not everybody that is enduring. The fact that marriage hasn't worked for you doesn't mean it doesn't work for somebody else. But we are getting a whole lot of messages that we are putting across that so wrongly. I don't believe if your marriages are that bad. I don't believe that, because we have good marriages out there. It's unfortunate that those that are enjoying the good marriage are not talking that much. It's just those that have gone through the bitter side are talking. So it has made it for people to think if you're in your marriage and it's going well with you and you are not talking, meaning that is why you are rather enduring, and it's not perfect, but you just have to be there. I don't think it's all like that. And because of that, the part women are supposed to be supporting, they are not supporting it. And the part they have to talk against, they will rather be supporting it. So yeah, it's still a man's world. We are trying, but the fact is, if you listen to some people's mind of things and the way we are seeing things, even with at this time and age, where there is this social media, this here, you are all the way in Calgary and here is all the way 35 minutes away from me. You guys are 3 hours, but we can still sit here and have a conversation. This is how far we have come, but at the same time, it's still a man's world. Just as I said, Antia is busy talking about the patriotic, how we can take care of it, but it will take years because a lot of people are not understanding this whole thing. So yeah, it is still a man's world.
Okay, Miss Ekwamo, are you ready now? Let's see if I can unmute you. Can you unmute yourself then? Otherwise, you might have to come back, I think, because we can't hear you at all. Okay, so is it still a man's world? I think so, actually. There's been a lot of progress from the times when my grandmom, who was a very clever woman, but wasn't allowed to go to school because women are only good for 3 to 4 things: satisfying a man, getting married, having children. A 4th one, keeping the house clean, kitchen stuff, cooking for the man, and making sure that his bedroom things are being done so that he's satisfied in every sense of the word. And that's all that people thought women were good enough for. And so going back to those times, we're talking about the 30s and 40s, in the 1930s and 40s, when my grandparents were born. There was, the decision was taken that some women would be put to one side and the men could go and do whatever they wanted. And the only place that was good for women was to keep the home, right? Times have moved on after that. I have a mother who is crazy, and Antia reminds me so much of her because I see a lot of my mom in Antia and the way she behaves and she sounds. I find it actually hilarious. Every time I talk to you, I just burst out laughing. Because my mom is crazy, like she's off the chains on a whole different side. Like when I put my grandmom on side by side with my mom, I'm like, what just happened? This is just, there's no, resemblance at all to anything. Because she went through the hard times, but she tried to break that whole cycle of not going to school and whatever. And she's had so many different careers. And she's now in her 70s and she's still up and out about working, keeping her home, married, 4 daughters, including me, 5 grandchildren, and still going and still living her life and doing what she wants. And yes, she's married to a man who is also very much alive and well, has his head screwed on right, was in the military, became a university professor for many years. So, it's not like it's made up. You can see me, my parents are, a product of the two of them. So it's still a man's world in the sense that much as all of that has happened, a lot of women still see themselves as objects to be had. In our society, we ourselves have also created, especially our men, have created the impression that all that women are good for is, yeah, what goes on in the bedroom and the kitchen and dressing up and a trophy, like a little chihuahua that people carry around, and it's nice and they put a leash on it and it looks all nice. It's unfortunate, but that's how a lot of us are being seen, even in 2023, and as unfortunate as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a comment there when I asked the question whether we're still living in a man's world. Summer Rain said, no more or not anymore. And I'm thinking, really? So back to the book. One of the things that was highlighted in that chapter of the book about whether we're still living in a man's world was when she talked about a renowned man of God, very well known in Ghana. If you want to know who it is, go read the book.
Mm-hmm.
And the son's proposition to marry her. But
Mm-hmm.
before she got married to him, he insisted that she goes to his dad to be spiritually cleansed in order for the marriage to go ahead. Auntie, I can see that you're itching to say something. So just
No, I'm listening to the story because I read it, so I'm nodding my head.
Exactly. So it's like she's a trophy to be had, and but then before she can be had though, there's something unclean about her that needs to be cleansed in order for her to match up to his level, for him to get married to. There was two things that I read out of that. One of it is she's a trophy to be had, but also the other thing is it's like she is privileged. She must feel privileged that somebody as high ranking as him, who is the son of a very big person in the spiritual realms in Ghana, to want somebody like her. Antia.
It's that whole thing of, it's almost like that attitude, like you're looking down on the woman.
Yes.
It's like you don't have any issues. She's the one with issues. So she has to be cleansed. She has to go through deliverance to fit your requirements.
Yes.
So this type of behavior, right? If you've heard me say it, I call it the script, what we described before.
Yes.
Cooking, cleaning, bedroom affairs. We are groomed with that
Yes.
from the get-go.
Correct.
So I'm not surprised that a man will not look at himself, but will rather project to the woman that she's the one who needs the help. And of course, when there's marriage ceremonies, it's the women who are being advised.
Yes.
This is how you keep a man. This is what you do. That is what you do. Listen, I was listening to Dr. Zita yesterday on TikTok, and she made this comment about us not dealing, because we don't deal with our emotions. I call it the walking wounded syndrome, that thing. And so it's even difficult to see a man and a woman sit down and have a conversation.
That's right.
So just the upbringing, the way we've been groomed.
Yes.
Look at what we have right now, like Ama Joe was explaining, and rightly, about marriage, but then it's one aspect of this whole conversation anyway.
Correct.
But the point still remains that when marriage is like, if you have a man who's been groomed to, I'll bring another, to me, I always say the 10 God syndrome. They've been made to feel they are 10 gods, so they are not accountable to anyone.
Correct.
I've heard a man tell his wife that "Wabondodo" means you are dumb. And the woman just smiled or whatever, laughed. But I'm thinking, if you say this to me continually, after a time, I'll be soaking it in, and then I'll believe it. Like, I'll feel so bad.
Yes.
Like, at that point in time, you need to stop.
Yes.
So, for me, this it's almost like you are only, in the old days, they used to say women were chattels, chattels. Sometimes even you are even more, the family goat was even more valuable than you, or something like that. So when I hear these conversations, I sit down and I cringe, because I tell myself, who was it that I told, Ama Joe, or was it you, Sika? I said, it's a good thing that I'm where I am, because If I live back home, I don't know how I'll fit. I
Mm.
wouldn't manage.
Me.
I couldn't manage it.
Mm.
I couldn't. It's not to say you won't ever go there, but it's so sad.
Mm.
In this day and time, it's 2023.
Mm.
Major changes are going on in the world, and we are stuck in the male female dichotomy, like arguing back and forth as to who is in control, who is in charge. Anyway, Sika.
Mama.
You see, this whole thing we are getting wrong, and we are getting it wrong because the people that we think knows, or we are hoping that they know, they hold a platform and they can say things for us to just sit back and say, wow. You get it? They are the same people that will say things and you go like, you are questioning yourself, so where are we? So you see, so it's really confusing. I will not take it from any man that you tell me my bondodo. Auntie, I said I would take it twice or thrice, not even one. Because if you put two little ones, a boy and a girl, I will make Ethan and a little friend that he used to play with as an example. If you put Ethan and Kimberly together, Mom, I'm telling you, at that point when they were 3 and were playing together, Kimberly already know how to go get a bucket, get sponge, get everything, and is ready to bathe Aram. Well, Aram is just sitting there and looking. What is she even doing? That is a maturity of a woman. You get it? So before we will even hit 5, if you put two little children together, and they are playing together and they are growing, whoever you are, a girl, child, no matter how you are or how you look, you are a little step ahead of that little boy. That's how it is. So imagine when we grow up, you have to tell me my bond. Whatever it is that I do shows that I'm a way ahead of you. You get it? So we will continue to, and then why do we came to the point whereby if you have to marry me, I will be the one to be fortified. Why should it be like that? What is wrong with me? But come to think of it, Yvonne was an actress, a model who became an actress. So apparently she already have a profession. So what makes her the devil? Is it her profession? Another way we have got it so wrong in Ghana. If you're a musician and you're not speaking gospel song, you are tagged as the musician of the world. The only way you are recognized is if you are playing gospel song. So if you are an artist, if you are an actress, it's obviously she's an actress, so she's not right enough. So that is why you have to go for fortify. And I'm sure, supposing she said, oh, okay, I'm in love with this guy, and went ahead to go get married, let's say that would have been the end of her career, because she would now, quote unquote, be tagged as the bigger or the head of the pastor's son's wife. So you can't be on the screen or to do whatever you want to do anymore. And these things has brought a whole lot of women down. It's like, even if let's say you're a musician and you are ahead, if your husband is maybe a leader, I don't know, you have to be behind. You're not getting the chance to be in front. I don't know why. I don't know how come we had it so wrong that if you are there, if you're a woman and you are there, it's definitely something is wrong with you or what. So I don't know how we came up with that. But if we will have women that will understand and say that, oh, your profession shouldn't change you as a woman, but as who you are, but then it's what you do, and there is nothing wrong with it, and it's not a sin, then I don't think we'll be questioning. But then again, as Auntie said, we still have people that will only educate the woman. I remember in my marriage when I was having my traditional wedding, the same thing they were saying. It was all about, oh, you have to do this until like I said, my mouth have no break. I have to say, I'm not the only one married. We are two people here. It seems like you are all directing the things to me until they all laugh and said, hey, what do you want? You say everything. I have to fight for myself. I have to come out, direct some to him too. It's not only me. Some have to go to him. If we can find a way to mingle all of this together, it's not like a woman, you are the one that is holding the home, where we know very well our men are at the head of the home. That by the end of the day, we'll be the one that is, as if we were not trained enough to learn how to take care of our men, even though they were not taught of anything. By the end of the day, it's all about, I have to come for cleansing before. I don't get it. You see? So those are the reasons why things will go that way. If we can have a little change, that it doesn't matter what you sing, it doesn't matter who you are. Christianity is you and it's in your heart. I think I'm actually diverting from the topic because I will not lie. Christianity has done more harm than good to us, or the way we were being taught has done so much harm to us that we are so confused. So with your own profession, we have to tag you as wrong. That is where that may come in. Anyway, I will let Sister Ikuyas take it from here.
Eguamwa.
Yeah, sorry.
Yay.
When you live in the big village and you're trying to drive on the back roads in the middle of the Paris, the internet is not that strong, and
That's okay.
the sound starts. Everything just started acting out as I was on the
Yeah.
back roads.
Yeah.
Yes. I know, Sika, you had asked me the question. Do we live in a man's world? And the answer is yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna take it from a whole different perspective,
Go ahead.
and try and tie it back into what was written in the book. A woman, and a woman, whether she lives in the developed world or underdeveloped world, in one way or the other, is undermined.
Correct.
Okay, because a woman is trained to become a mother and a wife. Okay, if she chooses to go another way, she is looked down upon. Okay,
Yes.
she's made to feel like she is a nobody, right? Even in the boardroom. Okay, and this is across the board. Okay, so it's important that how we understand how patriarchy in itself plays a role, no matter where we are,
Yes.
right? Whether we are in Canada or whether we are in Africa. Obviously, in Africa, in the West, they've moved, like they are made progress, but in Africa, we are. I don't even know whether we were progressing in itself, right?
Yeah.
The patriarchy holds, it's at the top and continues holds the power, holds the wealth, right? Because most of the time when we are having these conversations, we also have to think about the economic power that comes with the ability to control and the ability to be undermined, right? An average woman, whether you go when you if you decide to get married, okay, once you get married and you go on maternity leave, by the time that let's say, we are all 21 years old, we all started school together, we all started and finished school together, we all got our first job in the same company.
Yes.
If I get married and I have kids compared
Yes.
to my male counterparts,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
My male counterparts, if I have kids, I'll stay home with my kids. In case I
Yes.
have two, I'll stay home. So
Yes.
each one of them, I'm staying home an average of 6 months to a year. Okay.
Yes.
Within that period, that my male counterparts would have gotten a pay raise. That my
Yes.
male counterpart possibly could have moved on because
Yes.
they are counting their years of experience now. If I stayed home for 2 years, he now has 2 years work experience more than me.
Yes.
Okay. Although I'm being acknowledged, but the actual experience that they've had on the workforce now is more than I have, right?
Correct.
So no
Yes.
matter what is going on, you're always, as women, you're always one way or the other being undermined. And then not come back to our African culture, where women are always being told really not to express themselves, not to pretty much walk in the shadows of the men in their family, right? You know, your either is your brother, your older brother, who is taking over, or is your dad or your uncle who will tell you, you know, we see women being disinherited all the time. Their
Yes.
husband passed, and then in some cultures, you have to prove you're not the one that, you know, did something to your husband. Or, and some of these things, they are also being pushed by our own fellow women, right?
Mm.
They're the ones that are constantly reinforcing the patriarchy
Mm.
in the Western world or in the developed world, right?
Correct.
So
Yes.
when we talk about the is this a man's world? My answer definitely is yes, right? Because women, we don't hold economic power. Let's talk about the world richest people. How many women are among the list of the world richest people?
Mhm.
Right? Burley Annie, I think we have two. And even that one, you probably find them. Maybe if you do like a list of the top 50, then maybe you'll find them. And even those women, most of them is because either like, you know, the Walmart people, his kids, right? Some of them are girls, might end up on the list, right? Only because of that. So even their names are there, but when it comes to impact, that they
Mm.
will have in the boardroom in Walmart is very minimal,
Mm.
right? Because the patriarchy constantly reinforces it, right? And I really want to use an example of where, you know, even they do this demonstration about Doomsaw,
Mm.
right? But you see that the patriarchy is finding ways to undermine her.
Mm.
Dad, who was not part of her life, now calls her and say, "Oh yeah, stop what you are doing. It's not good." And when
Mm.
you couldn't get her to stop, the patriarchy comes through a form of political party, right?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
once you come into a political party, now you become one of them. Now they can control you.
Correct.
So every way, every turn, and that's one of the things that I really appreciate Yusika saying that, and I'm encouraging everybody listening. This is a really good book because it's a very good learning material for all of us to learn something, right? Because everywhere you go, the patriarchy is constantly finding way to bring you back to order,
Correct.
right? Whether
Yes.
even if you go and get PhD, right? If you don't have kids, they will find ways to undermine you, right? You have kids, if you are a tough woman in the boardroom, they will start naming you names, right? Calling you all sorts of names when you're not there. These are the realities of many women, you know, and they will say, oh, if you're not married, go and meet your mates. You're married with kids, you where's your own children, right? And even women who are not like, you know, on the top of their game, if they still choose not to go through the process or what is defined as a woman,
Mm.
yes, the old boys club, as a woman, one way or the other, a fellow man will still tell her who she is, right?
Mm.
I've known women who chose not to have kids only later on in life, thinking that the men they were with were in agreement with them, only for them to find out these men have turned around and did something else.
Mm.
They still wanted to reinforce that as a woman, you should still have children, right? So the patriarchy, whatever it is, will always find way to reinforce that they are the ones in charge and you better stay in line. So yes, it is a man's world for me.
Okay. There's so many people who would sit in the West and things happen in Africa, Ghana, for example, to a lot of women. And I've heard a lot of men get so upset and so angry. Why is it that the law, we don't have laws in Ghana or Africa in general that protect women? I'll tell you a story. Women who have been intimately abused, sexually abused in Ghana, in Nigeria, in whatever. Yes, there are chief judges sitting in the helm of affairs. We have all the laws that you can think. Look, the law book or the laws that run the country in Ghana, those same laws are the same ones that the English use. No difference, not even a word. The issue is enforcement. Who is going to enforce the laws that have been laid down on the land? A majority of these people, guess what, are men who are doing the very things that the common people are doing. So who is going to enforce the law? I know people who have gone into a law court because they're filing for divorce, right? Man and woman, they can't be together anymore. They have children. They're filing for divorce. You can see clearly this is an irresponsible man who is not looking after his children. The woman wants full custody. And then you have a chief justice who is coming to give his verdict. And guess what? Oh, you're the woman. We all know that it's your job to raise the kids. If he can't help you now, maybe he can help you in the future now. Doesn't really matter. This thing should not even make it to court. We should just settle it at home. These are the sorts of things that are happening back there. A woman is married. A husband is taking advantage of her intimately because he thinks he's married to her. It means that he owns her. And therefore, whenever he wants to get, the apple, he must get it. Whether she doesn't want it, not in the mood, tired, unwell, on a period, doesn't matter. I own you. So whenever I want it, I must get it. And so she, in her mind, she's raped because she didn't consent to that particular act that happened. Take that to anywhere and you'll be told, do you know this man? Yes. Who is he to you? He's my husband. So, and you're saying he raped you? Yes. What do you actually mean? Did he pay your bride price? Yes, he did. So what do you mean by he raped you? You are supposed to give it to him whenever he wants it now. So what do you mean by he raped you? These are the things that women are facing up and down, whichever corner you think about in Africa. Some places are better than others, but on the whole, these are the realities on the ground. So yes, on the face of things, we've made a lot of progress and all of that. But the woman is still an item to be had, a subservient item to be had for that matter. And it's very sad. Now, the other question that I wanted to ask all of you here is that when you look at the things that women go through versus what men go through, right from puberty to adolescence to maturity and beyond, compare a man to a woman. We're very different people. I get that. But sometimes, and I've always said this, that when I go to heaven one day, or whenever I meet face to face with God, him and I, we've got a few things to talk about, okay? Because we get to adolescence and women are having stuff oozing out of them all the time, and men just get to grow some hair somewhere and have a big voice, and that's the end of the story, right? And then it goes into marriage. And what do? Like Ekuamwa was saying, they're living their life, they're working, they're moving up the career ladder and all of that. And you, as the woman, is meant to have the children, keep the home, make sure he's happy, he's making progress with his life. Like we have the raw deal here, in my opinion. We get the raw end of every stick you can think about. And yet we are still trying to keep our heads above water. I want Antia. I know Antia has a thing or two to say about this, so I'm coming straight to you, Antia. Are you unmuted? I don't think so.
So you are asking, you were saying that what men and women go through, and we have the short end of the stick. That kind of, is that the question?
Yes, that's the question I'm asking. That you as a more mature person in the panel, you've had your own experiences, I'm sure, in your own life growing up. How has it been for you in that regard?
Sika, let me start with this. I come from a family of 5 girls. You've heard me say it before. And the way we were raised, you don't question anything. So it's only later when you are older, certain things hit you that, wow, and I'll qualify this again. My dad was an Ashanti man, but to see that he made sure that he put us all through good schools and made sure that we all went to uni, I'm like, what? Because there's other girls like me who didn't have that opportunity. Okay. And the other side of it too is coming from a family of 5 girls. Sometimes I say you know how our parents, they don't really talk much to you sometimes, but we kind of learn through osmosis. It's not what was said, it's just I was never made to feel less than. I don't recall my mom or my dad making us feel less than because we're girls.
Mm.
So for me, in my mind, I know that anything, even though I have that timid factor, the usual timid factor going for me, you know, I had to change that when I moved to Canada. But all my life, I've always been aware that if I'm going to do something, I have to push myself.
Mm.
So I don't limitations. Maybe I even feel there's more that I could have done if I chose to, but I'm quite happy with what I've done. So, and it's not everybody, every female who got this, because based on the cultural nuances, the things that go on in the community, you may be
Yes.
told, oh, after all, you're just a girl. Well, there's no money, so let's help the boy. You know, those kinds of things. So, a lot of women won't even have that confidence to say that I am able, I can do it.
Yes.
You know, so it's a lot. Sika, this conversation, like you said, we probably won't finish it, but for me it's the cultural thing, those nuances. Oh, a girl that you don't know how to cook. I've heard two women recently saying, one was saying, well, if I feel like eating fish, and somebody, I know somebody's, that is somebody's business, they'll fry it and bring it to me. So instead of me standing in the kitchen doing that, I can use that 1 or 2 hours to do something else productive. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And then this other person, that was Dr. Zita yesterday, she was saying she likes to make light, simple meals. Our meals are too heavy duty.
Yes.
Look at
For
Ghana.
hours.
Sika peanut, you go and buy the peanut, you come and roast it, then you blow the peel over it, then you pound it, then you grind it, and what have you. Meanwhile, it's in a jar. But think about all this. Our women, from our perspective, as we are saying, the women who come and reinforce it. Oh, you don't like cooking, you're a lazy woman. Just with us, it's always like we have to be always doing some hard work to prove that we are good women. And I'm like, enough. Even, okay, somebody will say, I'm a woman, I'm living alone. Who's going to mow my grass? Can you look in the papers or the ads and call somebody to come and do it for you? So these things, like right now, we're in the business of making life easy and simple for us. I'm not here to prove what a good woman I am, stand in the kitchen and cook from morning to evening before you can respect me that I'm a woman. No, I have things to do. I'm sorry, I have things to do. So, with what we are saying, if you're a woman and so you've been led to believe that this is all that you have to offer in life, is there not something else you wish you'd be doing? There's a lady I know through social media. I met her on Clubhouse, Miss Abby. She put a post out either last week or the week before about women. Don't forget yourselves in your relationships. Make sure you are doing your passion and I responded to her. I said, I've been talking about this all the time. My question is, why don't we be honest as women and speak the truth? There's a
Yes.
lot of us sitting in these relationships and it could be working, it's beautiful, but yet you still feel, oh, my kids are grown up, I could have done this. People are dying inside slowly, and yet
Yes.
we won't speak up.
Yes.
So I'm a woman and that's expected of me. And I know Ekua highlighted, she brought in the point of women are undermined, whether in the diaspora or back home. But back home is just the worst. It's just the pits. And I want to bring in another statement, but then I'll let somebody come in. There's something I found, I think it was a while back, maybe I was doing a topic and I went to review it. So the qualifiers, maybe I may not be explaining it the way I should, but it's called benevolent sexism, okay? And it says that women who comply with traditional gender norms. So there's more to it. So you can Google and do your research too. But that aspect where we say it's women who help reinforce the patriarchy. Oh, after all, they are men, let them do it. Oh, as for men, they always cheat. Oh, as for men, this and that. What change can you make? So we make it seem like there's a change is absolutely impossible, and then we
Yes.
stay with the status quo.
Yes.
Bringing it to even Yvonne, okay, she wrote a book, all kinds of aspects came out of it. Did any of these women empowerment advocates, has anyone spoken up? Has anyone said anything? Even the Ministry of Gender, wouldn't it be an interesting time to bring out some of these issues? Buddy, we are quiet.
Yeah.
Oh, we are women. If we speak up, they will yell at us, they will insult us. So let me keep quiet.
Yeah.
I'll land.
Mm. Ekuamua, before I come to you, I come to Miss Sheila. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I thought I went off a little bit. Anyway, just to add to what Auntie just said, I was listening to TikTok, and a woman actually came up with her story. According to her, I think she's 50 something, and her marriage is going to an end, and that is because her husband is not functioning anymore, and he hasn't been functioning for some time.
Okay.
And she actually sat this man down and said, you know what, your things are not functioning anymore, and I want out. I want to just go and have somebody to have something to do with out there. But it's kind of a two consensual people sitting down talking. So now that you can't function anymore, what is in it for me? Am I allowed to have somebody out there and enjoy my life, or have something to do with whilst I'm here, or we should separate completely whilst I go my way, blah blah blah. So I think the man finally said, no, you have to go your way. So the woman, that is if I'm correct, the woman now finally probably left the marriage. They both filed for a divorce, and the woman is ready to face her life. And before she realized the life that she made with this man, the man has actually confiscated everything into his name, every property that they had together. Leaving this woman nothing. So now it's now a court case, and the woman have to fight for her right. And to my surprise, on the stage, all the women there, I could hear them saying this, at your age, what else do you want? Why can't you just stay there at your age? And I'm thinking, like, my body is not your body. If you're 56 or 60 and you think you don't want any man business anymore, don't think everybody is like you. So you see, we tend to choose the way we live our life, especially women. We want to pin in on other women to be like that. For example, just as Auntie Ya said, this one peanut butter soup with all that of drama, I will not do until somebody grind that thing for me to cook. Well, two soup I enjoy, but somebody have to do it. At least, thank God, today there is a peanut butter at the market you can just buy and just make your soup a little easier. But those days, you will not find me. I will not do it. And if you are like me and you not do it, there is a name given to you. You are so difficult to control. But we have forgotten that we have somebody who will do it. You get it? So what you can do, I can't do. But every woman want to push whatever it is that they can do to other people. So that is the thing. Oh, I did it, so why can't you do it? I can't. If you think you can live at your age and without any man business, that is you. Somebody can't. If you want to stay in abusive marriage and stay there forever, it is you. Somebody can't. The fact that you was abused and you walk out doesn't mean those that are enjoying it shouldn't be there. We want to push things to others too much. I think that is the part we are having it wrong. If you are married material and you can cook, I can't cook. If you can wash, I can't wash. Can't you think of it? Me, my hand, all this while, if I wash, my entire hand will be on fire for so long with my hand. As much as I enjoy washing with my hand, by the time I finish, my fingers will be burning me like that. So how would I be pushing somebody to do something at that time? And we have fun of doing that. And this is the reason why we keep supporting the patriarchy system to go on. This is the reason why. Because what we can't, we want others to. The fact that we think if you can do it, somebody can. I can't be like you. Our hands are not equal. We don't have the same hair. Even our hairs are different. Everything is different. What you can't, I can't. Can we just get that and respect whichever one. If you can be quiet on your story, that is you. If I want to speak mine, what is your problem? It just the way we are forcing people to be who we are by force. It's
Yeah.
that area we are, as women, we are getting it wrong. Marriage is not for everybody. Accepted. It shouldn't be. That is why I couldn't get married. So yeah, that is why I'm less of a human being. Giving birth is not for anybody. So I'm not a good mother. It's just way too much. Up to the point whereby even if you have a C-section, you are less of a man. Those that
What's going there?
What is this? Enough. You know, I can't get it, and I've had it up to here at times. I'm gonna. What is wrong with you people? I carried 9 months. Finally, I delivered. The fact that I got C-section, it's not a child enough. I'm not a woman enough. Waiting.
Mama Joe, we broke loose. We are not getting back into that box ever again. Ever. I'm done.
Yeah, man. It's enough, women. Enough now. Enough. Come on
Too
now.
prescribed.
She was reading my mind. She really was. Because those were some of the things I wrote down. And you know, it's really sad. It really, really is sad that it is we women who do
Now,
those
wow
things
to us.
to ourselves. It's sad. It really is. It really, really is. You know, there are 2 women that I know. One of them she works in a bank at a very high level. And so once every month in England, she will get people to come and clean her house. Then her own mother-in-law turns up. You mean you bring people to come and clean your house? So what is your job as a wife?
Right.
What is your job as a wife? Do you know that by bringing other people to your house to clean your house, so your husband is seeing all these women doing what you should be doing? So what if your husband now takes your person cleaning the house, the cleaner now takes over your house? This was a big problem. Number 2, somebody I know and was very close to, a cousin of mine. She's done a first degree, she's done a master's, she's managed projects for years, and decides to move back to Ghana from England, all over the place, put her resumes everywhere. And they were looking for a deputy director for one of the governmental organizations in Ghana, more than qualified. But do you know the reason why she didn't get the job? She's 38. She has all the qualifications, but she doesn't have a man in her life. She's not married. So because she's not Mrs. something, that's just the reason why she doesn't have no children. So that's why she wasn't offered the job. This is not hearsay. I am writing the message. I'm hearing it firsthand. She's sitting right under my nose and it's happening, playing out there. She cannot get the job because she's not married and she doesn't have children. And when her female friends from school will pick her up from, the place and they'll go and sit and have fun, the questions now started. Oh, okay, so it looks as if you're not really into men because you're always hanging out with the girls. Are you a lesbian by any chance? That's the next question. Oh, it's okay. If you don't want to get married, it's fine. And I've been told this several times. I've been told this myself several times. Oh, if it's the man that you can't find, it's okay, but we still want our child. So, even if any married man even comes, it's fine. It's okay. Just get yourself pregnant and have a child. It's okay. All we want is just a child, right? You're not going to take over the marriage, Abby. Are you taking the marriage? No, you just want the pregnancy. So just get pregnant and then, have the baby. And then that will be the end of it. I remember a time when I had just gotten divorced from my ex-husband and somebody that I love and had a lot of respect for said to me, maybe, you guys, your thing just ended. It's not been too long. Air has not even blown over it. Maybe you should get back with him. And you know, maybe after he gets pregnant, now if you find out that it's not going to, and you want to leave him a second, then you can. You know, I love you so much. I don't want you to not have children. That's all. So you know, just try. Just try. Just go back.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what you're saying, this is mind-boggling. The way we think.
No.
My goodness.
No. And it's been 7 years since that conversation was had. And I haven't been back home yet because I'm still reeling from it. Yeah. And it's from the people that you have the highest and utmost respect for. You know, not the parents, not my parents, but those sideways aunties and uncles that have their necks in everything, especially the aunties. Yeah. So, somebody has a cesarean session, and so you mean you had a CS? But that's not having children now. You should go through labor and have the child properly, legitimately. What do you mean you had a C-section? So they cut you. Oh, they made it so easy for you. Well, I mean, that's not having children. Unbelievable.
10 months.
Conversations.
I'm sorry to interject. 10 months. Everybody stays 9 months. Abraham decided to stay 10 months. 10 months. 10 months when he was ready to come, he finally not positioned very well. I said I pushed more than 4 hours. I was pushing. I pushed. His head was there, but they pulled, and he's not coming out normally. The doctor now have to detect that he wasn't positioned very well. So tell me, upon all this, then I went through C-section, only for me to hear that the fact that you went through C-section to deliver, it's not normal. You are not a woman enough. Like, really?
Yes, we are not strong enough. You didn't try. You didn't try at all.
You know, they're just reinforcing this thing of the African woman always has to endure. We can't enjoy. We have to show that we're, is it like horse breeding, like we have good stock, like we are chin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I beg to differ. I'm sorry. I can't.
It's something. It's something. I look about the app. Is that normal? So all of a sudden, my children are not normal children simply because I went through C-section.
Yes.
Pregnancy is not for everybody. Me, for instance, you could tell it wasn't for me because these 2 pregnancies are the most hardest thing in my life. I said, my children don't sleep normally for me to sleep. The whole 9 months, my children are somewhere sideways over here. You sit, you can't sit. You stand, you can't stand. You sleep, you can't sleep. Now, if you want to eat, you can't even eat because you eat, you finish eating, it's coming out. And you go through all this. When you finally deliver and you have a baby, another woman standing somewhere degrading your fight, that all that you went through, that is nothing, it's not normal. Because he went through C-section. As he's carrying pregnancy for 2 months alone, for you to pass the first trimester, is that easy thing to go through? But somebody sit there and rubbish all that you went through. That is not normal. Simply because she had her as normal. And these are coming from women. The painful part is it's coming from women. At least it should come from men for us to say, oh, they are men. So they literally don't know what they are talking about.
No.
But for it to come to a woman. Yes, ma'am, coming.
I heard a man say it on TikTok. He said, it's you, the women, who bash your fellow woman that you don't have a child right or you had a C-section.
Right,
you won't hear a man going to tell another man that, oh, this. But we are doing it all the time.
No.
Pastor Patience is asking, so what about IVF? That one is cheating. That's cheating. That's cheating. You've cheated. Hey,
don't even talk about it. Don't tell anybody. It's a secret.
That's cheating. You stole.
Terrible.
Yeah.
The floor is mine. You know what? I just wanted to just read from page 140 from Yvonne's book, and it says that it is the mindset that reinforces sorry, I think it's sorry. So it is the mindset that reinforces. Which way am I reading? So it is the mindset that reinforces the unfortunate reality that it's a man's world.
Yes.
It is an entitlement mindset that a woman must be subservient to a man and be subject to his wishes and
Yeah.
dictates.
Correct.
It is an unwritten rule that expects a woman to be complementary to a man and that her own priorities
Mm-hmm.
and feelings must be subdued by overriding ambition of the
The
man,
man, of course.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and and then also she talked about it. It's also it is the forceful entitlement to a woman's body,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very powerful sentence that she puts in here, right? It is
Mm-hmm.
the mindset,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I didn't want to. I really wanted to go just to it's the mindset, and sometimes some of these mindsets is very dangerous, right? It's a mindset that you are, and a lot of women are walking in their shadows of their husbands because of this mindset, right? And you see women who, because of marriage
Mm-hmm.
or because their relationship with a man,
Mm.
will not really go out there and put themselves out there,
Nope.
right? In
Nope.
terms of their career. For me, I'm very passionate about it, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that every woman, for your own sanity, whether you
Mm-hmm.
have children or you don't have children,
Yeah,
your biggest priority is for you to have a career of your own.
that's right.
Right? It's either a career or you hone your craft. So
Mm-hmm.
whether it's you doing hair or is you're a sewer, a seamstress, whatever skills that you have, I believe that your main priority as a woman is to hone that skill, right? And to build it up, okay? Because there's so many instances that you hear women, like, instead of going to school, they will say, oh, let my husband go to school first, then after
Mm-hmm.
I will go. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe my boyfriend, let my boyfriend go to school first, maybe after, then after he's done, since he's done, then your mindset is reinforcing the patriarchy, right? You
Mm-hmm.
are not putting your own interest first.
Nope.
You are putting his own interest first, right?
Mm.
And at the end of the day, you can find yourself wanting, right? You find yourself wanting because you've put all your eggs and everything, you've laid it at the feet of a fellow man, and the man, you forgot that, the Bible said that arm of flesh will fail you,
Mm.
right? And because of that, you don't have anything else to fall back on, right? And going back to how Yvonne introduced this chapter by referencing uh um Dr. William's son, right? He is coming from the church. He could probably not even have that ideology from his father. He could have it from all those women in the church who are always reinforcing the patriarchy. Trust me, I've seen
Yes.
such women in my own church in the
Mm-hmm.
past.
Yes.
Where the pastor have not told them to do anything, no, but they
Mm.
are the ones reinforcing the patriarchy.
Mm. Mm.
They've made themselves the gatekeepers and the stewards
Mm.
of what they believe, what a
Mm.
woman should be, what a
Yes.
wife should be, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
today, if you're a woman who is one of those women, please stop.
Mm.
Please stop. Because if you truly believe in the word of God, if you truly believe and want to win people to God, that is not the way to do it.
Mm.
Right? Because I always saw people, Jesus was there when Mary Magdalene came, and we all knew she was a prostitute. And she
Mm-hmm.
came and poured oil on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
And even Judas said, we not have sold those perfume and given it to
Mm-hmm.
the poor? And
It's
Jesus said,
good.
the poor will always be with you. So you should know that the person that we believe in, we are following himself. How the prostitute come and pour oil on his feet?
Mm.
Then who are you to be the one to hurt someone? Or
Mm.
say who is a perfect person or who makes a perfect woman, right? I've seen women who have come to the abroad and refuse to get cesarean section when the doctors have told them their child has bleached. because they've been bombarded and told that if you do cesarean section, either you're not woman enough, or if you do cesarean section, somehow it makes you an imperfect woman.
Yes.
Their mindsets.
Mm.
The mindset that continuously reinforces the patriarchy,
Mm.
right?
Mhm.
So, and those are very dangerous mindsets,
Mm.
right? It degrades women, and
Mm.
it makes a young girl, as young as she is, she doesn't understand her place in the world. And she whether she's, no matter how much education that you get, you are always going to be faced with these same women who will reinforce it, and these same men who will continue to keep you down, right? Women, don't put your own interest, as you know, and your own emotional needs on the side. And
Mm.
we call it endurance in the African community. What is endurance? Right? Are you enduring to the doctor tell you now you need chemo? Or are you enduring to the day that you can't take it anymore? You know,
Crazy.
last time somebody sent me a video of a woman, and because of what has an African woman, Ghana woman,
Mhm.
she took her life
Mm. Why?
in America.
Why?
Marriage,
Oh boy.
right? She's
Hmm.
pregnant. He's also impregnated someone who is a family member, right? Because that comes back to this whole idea that the laws are there, but guess what? The people who are supposed to enforce the law are the perpetrators of the crime,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Yeah.
They are the
Yeah.
perpetrators of the crime. You know, she talked about the movie industry where you have to get sex before work.
Yeah.
If you want to be in the limelight and you want to grow in your career in the industry, then you
Yeah.
have to be able to. Everybody must enter that puna,
Yeah.
depending on the level that. But at what point is
Yeah.
that not human trafficking?
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
Or is it because now sex for roles, it's something that is supposed, we all supposed to accept it,
Mm.
right? You know,
Mhm.
some men feel they're entitled because they have the money,
Mm.
right? Because
Mm.
they have all of that, they're entitled to your body, and now you become an object,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
then all of this, we still have women who are reinforcing this patriarchy,
Yeah.
right? So what do can we learn from this, women? As women? What can we teach our daughters? What can
Mm.
we teach ourselves?
Mm.
Right? Like
Mm.
sometimes I hear stories of women who say, "Oh, you know, it was my plan that I wanted to finish my school when I came abroad, but my husband said that we should work. I should work and we should do this." And then that same husband now one day will get up, go to Africa, and start a whole new family.
Hmm.
And then you are stuck here as a single mother with kids.
Hmm.
And the job that you are doing, you can barely put food on the table for your children.
Mhm.
And as because of that, you are stressed out, and then your children, if God does not help you, they will end up on the streets. Because the job that you are, when you buy groceries, $700, how much money will be left, especially if you have 3 or 4 kids?
Hmm.
By the end of the week, the food is finished. And then you guys are looking at each other because you're not making enough money. Because when you came abroad, your husband said we should go build a house in my village,
Mhm.
a good one in your village.
Mhm.
So instead of you focus, because he's not ready to develop himself, you two, you sit there
Mm.
because you are going in the lineup. Meanwhile, you've forgotten that you have come and you've carried your seed with you,
Mm.
and that this country, yeah, they can give you a place to stay, but guess what? At the end of the day, you are responsible to make sure that those your children are getting the same exposure their counterparts in school are getting. The summer vacations, they're supposed to also travel around to see something or do something, right? But because you have put your own interest behind, you are sacrificing your seat. So when we talk about the patriarchy in itself and how we continually, we ourselves enable it, these are some of the things that I want us to think about. Are we putting our own interests first? And is the mindset of entitlement, are we also encouraging that mindset? Oh, this man, if you go and see this man and do this one, we will give you a car, he will do this. He will give you that job, that managing director job. Sika, I don't think that because she was 38. I think that he wanted her to meet him at a hotel. And she was probably not getting the code. Right? It's
No,
always
that is also there. Meet
because
at the hotel and get is also there, and you not having a man and you not having a children, so you are not entitled to anybody, or you are not hold to anybody's name, so you cannot get it. It's also there. It's two things.
ageism,
My sister, yeah.
ageism, sexism, and all of these things, it is just so amazing
Yeah.
how and that's one of the things I will say to compliment her is that her starting her own production group, right? So she can also give, and that's one of the things I always want to tell women, right? Do something for yourself. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is, right? Because you have the opportunity to change the narrative,
That's
right?
right. Yes.
Because you can never have power until you have economic power.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how many books we read, no matter how many what you call it, a PhD that you can carry on top of your head, if you don't have economic power, you become useless, right? Because you see women, you go home, you're a doctor, you come home, they still want you to cook, they still want you to clean. Meanwhile, maybe you've been in the hospital for 12 hours. Maybe that day you probably lost 2 or 3 patients.
I don't care.
A very terrible day, but you're still not allowed to have a bad day.
No.
You're still not allowed to sit down, shower, and then you to say, "Can someone please serve me some food?" Because you're a woman.
Yes.
Right? This is the continual reinforcement, right? The mindset, the attitude, the entitlement, right? So these are the things I want us to think about because, I was really, I'm like, they're our own interest, right? And we should know. And I always tell women, I'm like, if you say you are a believer, you're a Christian, right? You have to know God for yourself. And the Proverbs 31 woman, the Bible says that she goes afar and then she brings linen and wool and she sells, right? So even the Proverbs 31 woman, she's industrious. There was nowhere in which that it mentions that she depends on her husband for anything. So unless you are not reading the Bible for yourself, right, then you'll be distorted by all these, I call them gatekeepers, who always want to put people in places that they are not supposed to be. And if you're a woman, you're listening to us and you're very confused, I want you to study the Proverbs 31 woman really, really well. She's charitable and she's very industrious. So, and if you think that is not enough, I want you to study Esther, right? She's a brave woman who stood against the patriarchy, right? So if you are going to church and your pastor wants to render you irrelevant because you're a woman, then that means you are in the wrong church. And that is very unbiblical.
Tia, floor is yours.
No, I'm laughing because she said then you're in the wrong church. And I said, oh, all those things happened to me. That's why my hand was up.
It's funny. It's really funny. But some of these things that Yvonne is talking about, I can absolutely relate to them. And I thank God every single day for making me the way he did, because that afforded me the opportunity to escape a lot of the things that I know fellow sisters, they don't have the boldness to come and sit here and tell you. They'll tell me, but they can't tell you because a lot of them don't want names tagged to who did what. But growing up as a civil engineering student in a class dominated by men, there's 108 of us and only 12 of us are girls. The rest of them are boys. Okay, we go out on site. We're all looking for places to go do, how do you call it? Like, you know how in the middle of the terms when you go on holidays, you're looking for holiday jobs so you can gain experience, right? So I'm out on this site where in Kumasi. They're building the biggest landfill site in the region, in Kumasi, for the first time. I'm so excited as the only woman there. I'm attending all these board meetings, and my job is to take minutes and figure out just how the whole process works. In comes the minister for the Ashanti region, who has come to commission the thing at the time. This is the early 2000s. And there's all the men and there's me. I'm sitting there with my notebook, busy, 22-year-old. I'm so excited to learn. And instead of listening to what the project engineer was telling him, all this man could think about was the female person with the boobs sat in a room. And everybody started making a mockery and a joke out of the whole meeting. I was mad.
Of course you'll be.
And then when it's all done and we go out there to actually inspect what had been put there, because it was a sword cutting, it's been done, completion ceremony. This man sends his bodyguard to whisper in my ears, "My boss says he wants your number." You know what I told him? I said, "My mommy says I shouldn't give my number to strangers." That's exactly what I said. And scratching my hair like some stupid girl. But yeah, I was horrified. Like, I hear these stories, but it had never happened to me before. So it's like, what is this? So he goes back and then he comes back again. Do you know who he is? I said, I don't care. My mom says I don't give my number to strangers. Plain and simple. It became the running joke for months, even till today, when some of those people see me. Where's my number? And we all have a big laugh about it. It's not funny, but it happens. And there's so many people, so many of my classmates that I wish not to name, that were put in positions of authority on the basis that this person is so and so. If you're not prepared to be the side chick or the side chick of the side chick, you're not in the game. And if you want to be honest and not dip hands into coffers that are not yours to be had, you will be the poorest church mouse in the countries that we all know about till thy kingdom come. So it's really difficult for a woman living in Africa to keep their chastity, decide to give themselves to who they want to give themselves to. A lot of the times, people are pushed into things not because, and I'm not saying this to justify why people do the things that they do, but sometimes there are women that I know who have gone to school and their family have had to sell everything they have to put one person through school. So they've all come out of school and now everybody is looking up to you. You have to work and pay back the loans and everything. So I've seen women who unfortunately have been pushed into those positions. It's not been such a long time when we heard about that girl. Yeah, everybody says, but she's a slave queen, blah, blah, blah. How did she become like that? The one who was frolicking with that banker who got fired, who had a wife for a doctor with children. How did that happen? If that girl had said no to that man, she would have never gotten the job in the bank in the first place. That's the truth. Based on what I experienced myself growing up there as a young adult. So a lot of our women, we talk and we bash people and we say all manner of things. But if you have to live on the ground and live that life, it's not funny. No. You are not getting a job unless you're prepared to open Punani. If you're not opening, no job. Simple as that. You know?
I wanted to add that even if you are lucky to get the man that is ready to help you, you will still find the women out there to say, "Oh, you have tamed this man. You see that it's something you did on this man. That is why she's helping you and you're not doing all the job yourself." You see that? If you are that lucky to get that man who is ready to step up as a man to do his man duty, the same women will stand somewhere and be saying, "Look at what you have turned somebody's son into. Look at what he's doing." That's what they will tag you to. And we sit there and we say, we are what? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. One of the things, Jessica, I'm gonna say really for sure is that, there are many things. This is how things are, and that is unfortunate for at least 90% of the women on the continent. right? And I mean, sometimes women here in the Western world also have to sometimes, give in as well to get certain things that they also want,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I will say, this is something I think is a good solution,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a solution that
Mm.
I think we can always look at, right? Because we are here to discuss, and at the same time, we're here to also think about some of the things that we can also encourage our sisters with.
Yes.
You are bringing up your daughter or even your son, because now it's not only the women who are also being victimized, men are being victimized too by
Mm-hmm.
their own fellow men,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I think is like, no matter how much attainment in education that you want your child to attain, always make sure that you're also empowering them with some sort of like skill that they can use, right? And then also always encourage them even here in the abroad to always seek out to learn something else other than the education that they are getting,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's very very important, because like I will tell you, Sika, I know one girl in Ghana, right, who I met through your friend Michelle, and she does graphic design. If you tell her, oh, do this design for me, design a poster, design this for me, design that label, design that for me, she would do it. She would send everything to you on PDF. She would send it to you in graphic design. And she's very prompt. That is her handwork,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things, there's so many things that we want to start opening up our minds, because there's so many opportunities out there. And Indians in the Indian economy have taken advantage of it. So have
Yes.
the
Yes.
Filipinos, right?
Yes.
Where, and some of the Chinese, where you can be in anywhere in the world and still be able to do small, small work for
Mm-hmm.
people who live in the Western world, where you
Correct.
can make $20 here, this, that, and that. You don't need to sell your body,
Mm.
right? Selling your body should not be an option for you. You don't need to open yourself up. And I think that if we think about all these things, like some of these small, small things that you can teach your children, and it's not only children that are born in Africa, even in the diaspora, right? Last time I went to a seminar and they were like, right now, there's two things that every child that's been born abroad should know.
Mm.
Being born in Canada should know. They have
Mm.
to know how to type, and then
Mm.
they have to know how to code.
Mm.
These are the two things that if you have any child that was born after 2012, you have to make sure as part of either their reading or their math, these are the other two set of skills that they must have,
Mm.
right? Because these are some of the things we also have to think about.
Mm.
How, instead of your child sitting at home, why don't you ask that woman who owns a salon, can my daughter be coming there and helping you fetch water? As she's there, she can be learning how to braid, she can be
Mm.
learning how to, little things, right?
Mm.
Let's not let our children sit at home, not do anything, right?
Mm.
Because then when they finish school, then they'll have to hustle. If they know how to braid, right? When they finish school, they are not getting job. What can they do? They can start braiding at home. They
Mm.
put flyer in the neighborhood. They start braiding,
Mm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's everything is really is the mindset, right? If we want to change the next generation, if they know somebody who like Auntie Ya who likes to write and your child likes to write, oh Auntie Ya, can you mentor my daughter? You know, these are and that's one of the things I struggle with when it comes to us, asking somebody who is already there and asking them that, can you mentor my child? Because my child loves to read, my child loves to write. Every time she comes home, she's always written something, right? Taking advantage of the resources that is around us so that our children they will not become vulnerable. We ourselves, right? We also need to allow people to mentor us, right? I don't know if you listen to Jim Ike. Jim Ike just recently had an interview with Chide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in the interview, and I'm just paraphrasing, he talks about how he needed to be mentored to
Mm.
become a good man, right? To become a good husband. And he said men need to be mentored by other men, regardless of the age, right? This is how we also help break the patriarchy. So this is something I just really dawned on me. I just wanted us to really think about it as well as we talk about men being, you know, the ones that are dominating. How can we women also change the narrative so that women are not living lives that is a shadow of themselves? Because there's so many women who are living in the shadow of themselves that have great potential, like they can
Correct.
do great things.
Correct. Correct. So many of them, and I've met some of them, and I know I'm going to meet a lot of them going forward as well.
Yeah.
A lot. I read a comment just before about how female mutilation is actually started off by women. We propagate it, we promote it, we push it. It happens to a lot of Zimbabwean women. It happens to a lot of East African women. It happens to a lot of Ghanaian women. It's still going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's still going on.
Yep.
I don't know whether anybody knows what fistula is, but
Mm.
in the northern part of Ghana, you know how young girls, anything from 10, 12 upwards. I have a relative that does this firsthand. So the stories are just, I don't even want to go there, get upset this evening. But female fistula is where young girls, ages of 12 and up, literally, as soon as you start getting into womanhood, they push you into a man's room and lock the door, and the man can do whatever he wants to do. Before you're 12, you're 13, you're pregnant. They're children themselves. Their down belows are not fully formed yet. Yes, but they have to push out children. And in the course of pushing, the back passage and the front passage merge. So there is unfortunately fecal matter coming out through the back passage into the front passage, and everything in the line of it is rotting away, literally. And this is happening right now as we're talking. It's still happening to people. And who propagates this? Women. Women are at the forefront. It's so shameful and embarrassing to say, but it is our same sisters that are putting their daughters in these kinds of unfortunate, despicable places. So 12, 13-year-old, they've had children. They're people by the age of 17 and 18, they've had 4 children already, because they're starting pushing them out at 13, and they're having this fistula thing, and people have to go and repair them. And guess what? When the fecal matter is seeping, and unfortunately there is odor on these people, they don't push them out as outcasts. They don't want them. And yet it is human beings that have turned them into that. Do you know what these young girls could be? The potential that Ekuamwa is talking about. Like, there is so much out there that we have.
Are you saying we have such things happening now in 2020?
I'm telling you, right now as we're speaking, somebody is having that done to them right now as we're talking. It's happening right there in Ghana right now. Right now, it's happening. The churches involved, the people that have made it their job. They go out there 3 times a year. I know a group of doctors, that's their job. They do it for free. They go up there and they treat a lot of, some people pass on. A lot of children have died from this thing.
To begin with, so
it is.
Yeah.
It is. It's happening. So, there's a lot of work. When Ekuamwa was talking about women empowerment and how it's just become some kind of a slogan or a word that we put out there, these are some of the hurtful, unfortunate things that are happening to women that are propagated by the same women that we are trying to protect, all in the name of so-called women empowerment. So the fact of the matter is, whether we like it or not, there is a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I agree a lot with what Ekuamwa has said, that a lot of it has to do with we women coming together as a people. And the only way to empower, to break cycles, is with economics, because money rules the world, whether we like it or not. Money gives you options. Many women are stuck in marriages that they should never even have gone into in the first place because the family don't have no money. So the mom is pushing that 12-year-old into that baba's room, not because she wants to, but it's a less mouth to feed, one less mouth to feed. So when the baba takes her, then everything she owns becomes baba issue. It's why it's happening, right? It's unfortunate, but these
It
are
is.
some of the things that we are faced with. So, Antia, having talked about all of these, and as we wrap up, because this thing is not a one-day issue, we'll come back again, I'm sure. What do you think are some of the things that need to happen to effect the change? I know Ikuamwa has talked about them extensively, but on your own experience as a more mature woman, what do you think are the things that we women can do practically on an everyday basis? You change one life, it's still a life that's been changed. So what can we do to make things better?
Sika, you were making those comments. All I was thinking to myself is, what are we afraid of? It seems like the feminine, the female gender, women are afraid of women and men are afraid of women. If we, the women, knew the power that we had, we could do a lot, but unfortunately, we don't seem to have that power, or we've given it over, or we say things like, oh, it's a man's world, let them do it, instead of standing up to fight. But for me, I'll say we start one at a time, because, there's a lot that can stop you from pushing in life. I mean, if I'm to take my personal story, I'm somebody that I'll always speak up, and people don't like that. So they want to shut you up, they want to muzzle you, but you have to keep talking. And sometimes you need to get out of certain places to find that freedom. So it's a matter of, impacting the young girls, those around you, those in your life, talking to them.
Mm,
In a culture where we've been made to believe that a woman's only achievement in life is marriage, we need to do something to kind of take away that perspective from, like, that you are here to live a life. You came alone. You have a vision. God had a purpose for you. For me, the thing that I always say is that my husband wasn't there when I was born, and I was not there when he was born. So there's no way that I have to allow him to limit me, or I have to limit him. I'm in this world on my own. You see, somebody wrote a comment that maybe women, we need to think with our head more and not our hearts. You can't love. We get so fascinated with the word love, but I think where we have to start from is to teach the girl child to love themselves. And it is not selfish. Look, Sika, this thing, you can go off in so many directions. There's so many. We don't love ourselves. Even when you go and talk about love, they'll come and tell you, oh, they'll come and put Christianese on you. But I always say the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. There's nothing selfish about loving yourself. Self-care is so important. You have to take care of your emotions, your
Right.
physical body,
Yes.
your mental, it's very important. So we need to have these conversations. We keep quiet too much. We've ourselves too much. You have a voice. Your voice is your power. Don't allow anybody to shut you up.
Correct.
You have to. For me, I use examples. Maybe I'll tell my girl, hey, this, well, this, what do you think of this? We'll talk about it. Don't allow this, and there's more talking to do. I remember them saying at some time, oh, mom, you don't tell us anything. And I laughed gaily. I said, you guys are funny. I'm giving you more than I ever got from my own mother. This silence, code of silence in the culture, it has to stop. We need to open up and speak about the issues. A woman needs to understand that, yes, it is nice to be married, but it is not why you're on this earth. Focus on yourself, grow yourself, whatever it is that these days, we're not only doing one job, like we're not doing only one job, like your 9 to 5. There's other things that you are doing. So you could have a young person, there's three possibilities open to them. Focus on that, because you don't know. It's like I think it was Ekua was talking about braiding hair or being a seamstress. Like my two girls during COVID, they learned how to braid their own hair. So sometimes they'll do it themselves. Sometimes they'll go for somebody to do it for them. You can learn.
Yeah.
So my thing is that we are behind. Somebody, was it you? You said you don't know if we are going forward or we are retrogressing. With the more recent conversations that I've had around Yvonne's book, I feel like we're back in the caveman days. Okay, we're back there in the caveman days, and you as an individual, you owe it to yourself to educate yourself. For
Correct.
me, I use myself as an example. You know, you make this joke that go on holidays, black people, Ghana, for don't always be building mansion, this, that you work hard here, go somewhere. Anytime I go somewhere and I come back, I get a new idea. You know, I got the idea to start write my book in, was it 2019? I went to Montreal, where I was born. I'd been sitting here. I wasn't going. Typical Ghanaian. My daughter says, hey, we have to go. After we went to McGill, my dad's school, that day I'm standing in the hotel. I'm like, you know what? This man would say, what are you waiting for? Do it. I did it. I just came back from holidays. I have new ideas. You have to push yourself in life.
Correct.
What is it? I'm retired. Does it mean my life is over? No, not by a long shot. But there's people younger than me. They are sitting down and their life is over. Oh, I'm 35. There's nothing more. I don't know what to do. And they are sitting there. Oh, like you said, my husband says we should do this. My husband said, don't you have initiative? Can't you do something on the side? Find your own money. I didn't publish my books with my husband's money. I did it on my own. If I had asked him for money, there would have been a story. Oh, we can't do this because of this. We can't do this because of that. And I'll be sitting here, so frustrated. But now I'm not. But when I come and I sit on social media and talk about it, my fellow Ghanaians will come and say, oh, look at her. She's sitting there showing off. Showing off? I worked hard. That's my legacy. I'm in my 60s. Life is not over. You got to push. We've been put in a box. Ajuodo is not on here. We talk about this box. You need to get out of the box. Even in that box, there's 4 corners. You try. If it's not working, you jump out. There's too many limitations. We're limiting ourselves so much.
Correct.
You know? Oh my goodness. Life is not over. Look, I'm not saying all this to say that I have everything right. I'm doing it. No, there's certain times I sit, I'm like, I should get to this, and I'm still sitting here. But at least it's in my mind. Somebody has not even thought of it to write it down that I'm going to do it.
That's right.
And you are coming to tell me, like, Sika says I amuse her because I sound like him. I said, it's not over. It's not over because me, I grew up seeing my mom, Pichiri. She's 87, she's still doing Pichiri. Why should I sit down and be keeling over and dying? Life is not over. Not at all. Come on, you got it in you. Bring it out and stop sitting there worrying about. We worry too much about public opinion. Oh, what will they say about me? What will they think? Who are they? Your husband does not breathe for you. I've repeated it on the platform so many times. If you need oxygen, they'll give you your own tank. Let's stop this. And somebody came to write, oh, the man is the head of this. You know what? We are all believers. Most of us on this platform, maybe we believe in God or whatever our faith is. But let's be practical. Every time they come and put some scriptures out and this and that, we misunderstand or misquote scriptures sometimes. That same Bible that says submission, it says men love your wives, but we don't. Even the submission, it says submit to one another. It didn't say women to submit to men, and yet you've jumped on it, and here we are. It's become a circus. We're going round and round, and it's not getting better. I will land, Sika.
Until I said the man should love his wife as Christ loved the church.
Exactly.
And gave himself.
Yes.
For he who loves his wives, love himself.
Good.
Yes. Right?
Good.
Yes.
Let's not forget that.
Good.
Because no one loving themselves can hate or hurt themselves. So if your husband is saying that they are abusing you because you're not submitting, that means that any damage they do to you is a reflection of who they themselves, how much they love themselves.
Yes.
Right? So that's one of those things we should always interpret the scripture. We should read it in its entirety, right? And I mean, women, people should read the Bible for themselves and pray to God to give them revelation,
Yes.
right? Because it's important how much revelation you will get from the Word of God if only yourself you see God yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. So sorry, I just needed to reinforce that.
Oh no,
Thank you.
you had to say it.
That's good.
Yeah. Amma, we are wrapping up. Your last words.
You see, there is one thing I don't think we had. Maybe some of you people had it, but I never got opportunity. Something I find here in Canada so good. Because you see, at the age of 12, 11 to 12 and 13, you have the chance to have little program. Before Ayam will be 12, he took this child babysitting course that I saw online.
Yeah.
I pushed him to go get it.
Yeah.
And then not too long ago, there was a leadership program. He went through the leadership program. I paid for it though. It's not free.
Yeah.
But it's like he comes back, and when there is any program, it's like the enthusiasm and energy in him that he's ready to do. I'm a member of this women group in Edmonton. Yesterday we went to picnic, and there he was ready to help and take a lead and all that. And then there was something that somebody said was, why are you doing all this? And it's because I'm in a leadership program. I do this and that, And then and then one of the lady was, I thought he's a boy. You have trained him to be you too. Hey, this woman. So you see, there is so much of certain things that we did not have. We have access to now. Why can't we just encourage our little ones to have it too? Because we didn't get it. Nobody pushed me to no leadership program. But as far as it is here now, and I have children, why not them take advantage of it and lead too? You see, so most of us have access to certain things, but it's so hard for us to even get involved and push others to even try to do it. And these are the areas I think we are lacking and we are pulling back. We have access to little things around us here, especially those of us in the diaspora. Those little things, let's involve our children to it. Let's get them involved. And once they are doing it, even though we did not have access, we will follow too. Because you come back and tell me things that I thought I know it all, and I don't even know. If we do this, meaning we are engaging, and this is where changes will come from. Can we just leave? Oh, we were not taught. That wasn't our life.
Excuses.
That wasn't our life. So we can't do. Can we just stop that? We have found a new land. Can we leave this new land to the fullest and stop pushing people for them to do our bid, knowing very well we can't. You can't, and somebody can. Enough. Allow them to do it. What you can't, you can. If others are doing it, and if you can you encourage them rather than pulling them down? And this pull me down syndrome, we will continue to be where we are. But let's encourage more. I think it will help. And if whatever it is that we have seen that can progress us, can we get involved into it? Can we stop all this fight, insulting each other, insulting each other here and there, and all that? We are busy saying you said this, you said that, rather than doing something meaningful. That is the way forward. I think that is. Let's do something different, and it will help. I will end here, sisters.
I just wanted to throw in quickly to what Amajo is saying. Like Amajo, upstairs on my table, I have this newsletter, the community leagues. And you look inside, there's different activities. Kids are on holidays now, reading, this computer, all kinds of things. Some of them are free, some may not be, but you have to pay attention to those things and show up.
Yes. So I just wanted to add to what Antia and what Amma said. Yes. So some of the programs they offer them, the leadership class, the babysitting class. I just put the link. So if you are in Canada, Child Safe Canada, they have them. They actually even have some on emotional intelligence as well. how to stand up to bullies. They have a whole schwack list. They also have first aid as well. So if you're looking for something for your child to do, and most of these are 1 day courses, to also empower them and also give them opportunities as young as 14 years old. You can be looking, and they are very cheap. Some of them are $50, 60, some are even like $25, right? So if you're looking for your Child Save Canada offers some of these programs, right? Babysitting courses and all those things, right? These are all ways for you to especially empower your young girls so that they also learn a secondary skill, something that they're learning outside of school. Let's keep our children busy, okay? This is also part of how we get rid of the patriarchy, okay? Don't think that getting rid of patriarchy is something that we talk about. Women empowerment, it should not be talking, it should be action. It is how we raise our boys, how we raise our girls. Our boys need to respect women. They need to understand what it means to take care of their wives, take care of their family. And they need to understand how they also are their own responsibility and their roles that they can play in helping us create an environment where women feel safe and women are able to communicate and women are able to also grow as well, right? And all of it start from our kitchen table, right? In politics, they have something called kitchen table topics, and this is a kitchen table topic, okay? So it's important that we understand our role as individuals and how we help change the narrative, right? So when we think about all these things, and if you're also looking for your children, some schools, I know in Alberta, if you live in Alberta, some schools also offer some of these programs whilst your kids are in school. So please, parents, get involved. All those leaflets that they come home with, I know they come home with so many garbage. Sometimes you don't know. Just take 5 minutes, take a good glance at it, and there's something in there, right? Because I know that my daughter's school today have that leadership program as well for the kids there, right? Let your child get involved because it's important. You're building their self-esteem, especially if they are girls. And that's how they become very catty and alpha female, like the four of us, right? If you don't do that, because we have strong women in our lives and strong men in our lives who encourage us, right? To be really bold and made us feel so comfortable in our skin that wherever we are always alpha females, right? Regardless of the circumstance that we find ourselves. And it's important that if we want to help, this is how we also help. And that's all I'm going to end with, right? Yvonne needed to change the narratives. So she started her own production company, right? That is how she is changing the narrative. What are you doing to change the narrative? Sika, you have muted yourself. I don't know why you're muted, Sika.
Uh-oh. Sorry. So what I wanted to say here is that I wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here. I can see Antia has made my work a lot easy. She's already put handles to all the books that she's written out there. Please, Miss Sheila and Miss Ekuamwa, please put the link to everything off on the side there as well so that I can highlight that. But before I end this, what I want to say is that no matter where you are in your life as a woman, married early, had children, whatever, now you're in your 30s, late 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever it is, the downfall of a man/woman is not the end of your life. You're still breathing. It means that there's a plan and there's a purpose for the life that you have. And it's down to you to make something out of yourself. Maybe you've been listening this whole afternoon, us going on and on about it, and you're sitting there reflecting on what we've said. Maybe you're feeling a little bit down on yourself and you're thinking how much you've wasted so much time. But the past is the past. There's nothing you can do about it. It's gone. Okay? There's something called drawing the line. You have to draw that line. There's something called drawing that line. Draw that line and make progress with your own life, right? And make something of your own self as a person, right? There's so many things that we talk about on this educative platform, Sika Educates. If you want any one-on-one coaching. Maybe you're sitting there and you're not really sure what it is that you want to figure out in your life. You're thinking about some emotional stuff that you've been through, all the conversations that we've had today and in the last few weeks gone have triggered you in some way. And you're thinking, how am I going to make anything of myself? www.sikaeducates.com. Just book yourself a one-on-one session and come and let's sit down and have a conversation. A problem shared is a problem halved. You talk about it, we air it all out there on a one-to-one basis and figure out your own roadmap for your own self going forward. Please, if you haven't heard anything else I've said today, share this video so that other people in your circle, maybe it's not for you, but it's for somebody else to hear this and be inspired to do something with themselves. And if you love me, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This message cannot just be on Facebook. Not everybody is on Facebook. Some people are on Twitter. Some people are like Ekuamwa, she's on Twitter. You know, some people love YouTube. So whatever it is, please, I can only count on you to share the love. And I'll put the link to my website in the chat here. Whilst I highlight Auntie Yas and Ekuamwa. So Ekuamwa has a non-profit that she's running. She's very inspired and motivating to want to help young people. That is her passion, to help young people, especially our children, to become better people. All these things we're talking about. We have children, we have people that we love, nieces, nephews. These are some of the things that we have to do to empower them to be the next generation. So that when our children sit here 20, 30 years from now, we're listening to them, they're also not having this very same sad conversation. And we're still moping about it. So she's running this STEM education, promoting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The program is just 6 days away. You know, it's the 22nd of July. I'm going. I've got my ticket. You know, if nobody else comes, I'm going to win this prize. And when I'm sleeping in that place, I'll send you video. So if you want to compete with me and get that that fascinator that she's got in her hair, I'm coming for mine. And you really, really want to have tea like the queen on Saturday, you ought to be in Calgary. All roads lead to Calgary this Saturday. Let's make it happen. Let's turn up for her and show her all the love that she deserves. She's an awesome person. She's my Calgary mom. You know, she feeds me, everything. Like, yeah. You know, so please, let's support Ekuamwa. Let's do this. If you love me, click on that link and book yourself a seat. If you can't be in Calgary, you can still donate to support a worthy cause. So there's also the donate button on that same link. So
okay.
Please do this for me. And the heavens will bless you. Yes. Auntie Ya is an author of 4 books, right?
5.
5. Okay. So the 6th one must be cooking in the bun in the oven and it's coming. Yeah. So if you want any links to buy any of Auntie Ya's books, please, it's in the comment section, but I've highlighted here as well.
That one is the link to the 5th one, but when you go to Amazon and you search under Yafoda Tobra, the rest will all come up. And with these conversations, all the books are good, great, very good, but I'd recommend Own It. It's a guide to taking accountability and responsibility for your own life journey. And also my Unapologetic Self is a guide to being real and living life on my own terms. Like we say, with all the stuff that is put on us, a lot of us are going through life with masks and facades on. You need to take it off, figure out who you are, and live your best life. These books may inspire you to get on that journey. Thank you kindly, Sika. And also, if you want to write your story, I forgot about Auntie Ya's Own It Academy. So I do book coaching, help people to put their story out there. You have a story that is a solution to somebody's problem, but you're sitting there putting yourself down that, oh, my story is not interesting, it is boring. You never, ever know. So I will put the link to that too in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is good. I didn't know, Auntie, you do that. So I think we should possibly be inviting you to carry one of these days and get some women together so you can
Yes.
encourage us to, write our story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Sound-
start working on that because
Sounds good.
we're not that far. We need
Yeah,
to
sounds
bring it
good.
down.
I'm
And
free now. The red arrow still works, right?
don't worry, Auntie, yeah. This one, don't worry, we'll carry driver, come carry you. Some of us we still have some Nigerian blood in us. I'll get start taking coach. Bah, don't worry. Don't you know that some of us are from Nigeria? Everything we gotta do, if I said like whatever we do in Ghana 1,000 times, Nigeria is 10 times. So we have to do it 10 times.
Okay.
Yes, don't worry. We should definitely we should think about something, bringing her down so that get some women together because it's important. These are part of the process.
Yeah.
Right? There could be young people who are
Yes.
looking to learn how to write, and this is going to be good for them. So definitely, let's paint that down. You know me, I'm always flying out with ideas, and I think this is an idea we should definitely look to work on. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
So thank you both so much, Antia. Thank you so much for being here. Next week we shall continue the conversation. Ekuamo, I need my fascinator. I need to be looking good before I turn up there.
Okay, yellow and now so open red.
I want blue. Yes, I need blue.
Nice yes. Thank you, Auntie. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. You guys are super awesome. Kwamwa, thank you so much. Auntie, God richly bless you.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bless you. Thank you so much.
See you.
Guys,
all the best, Ekua, with your program.
Thank you. You guys, YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to YouTube Education.
Yes, so please. Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Right? I hope that these messages have inspired somebody today to take some action. I put the link to my own website on here as well in the comment section for those of you who are looking to have one-on-one conversations about what's going to make your life better. So please support me, help you, make your life a better one for your own self. I am really passionate about seeing us all harnessing and bringing out the best versions of ourselves possible. You've never done enough. You can always do more with everything that you have inside of you. The last thing I'm going to say tonight, I bored you enough, is that TapTapSend is one of these apps that has come up and coming. Everybody is talking about it because the rates for sending remittances to your family back home are the best out there. Now, if you want to get the extra $15, if you live in Europe or Canada, if you live in the States or Canada, if you live in Europe, it's €5, and if you live in England, it's £5, is that you download this TapTapSend on your phone, whether it is your iPhone or your Android or whatever device it is. The first transaction only, use the promotion code AKUSIKA, Akusika. Use that code and you'll be able to get the extra $15, €5 or £5 to send to your loved ones back home. It does not get better than this. I love you all so much, and I want to see people succeeding and thriving, as I've said before. God richly bless you, and I cannot wait for the new week that is starting. A lot of amazing educative programs coming your way. I love you all. God bless you. Have a fantastic good night and a week ahead. And I pray that everything that you touch today and the week ahead will be blessed and just the way you want it to be. I love you all. Mwah. Have a fabulous week.